Hello, my name is Socrates, and the concepts presented may offend you.
When I hear the word economics, the concept relates personally as to the study of people and choices. That in the exploration of the field I see the psychology of the working class, the ability to explore enterprise and the negotiations between such persons and their government in identifying the reasonable tax brackets to engage the state directly. But when I hear explanations of the field involving mathematics, when there is a more concurrent classification to the field bound to philosophy, that if I were not first a philosopher who speculated on the economy, aided by a sparingly trained mathematician, would not I be myself more productive and then as well better trained in the subject matter I am tasked with handling? If I asked a welder to repair a robot he works with, would he complete as many welds when he is only trained in welding but not in robotics? It is that we specialize so that the workforce can diversify in its organic boundaries, not cultivate a half-cocked monkey-wrenched wielding society. This is a piece on the study of finance, taxation and the most literal sense of economic development, both as a study and to reference in the practical ideology that creates wealth for the nation. Such efforts are practiced in investing oneself in the capacity to develop products is some's focus, be it engineering, chemistry or sheer ingenuity. But in the premise of completing any of these tasks, such as the invention, the copywriting, the manufacture or the distribution of the product, the taxation, the material and material manufacture managed by the state, the roads and the road workers who maintain supply lines, these all factoring into the sale of products that manage their liens on the peoples through continued taxation and the ability to create more opportunity when assessing the situation for their expansion or continued developments of the land, using the generated wealth from exports to identify the polity of the peoples as they continue to develop, manufacture and distribute products with all regulated state permissions. Classical models to modern economic models. In the ideal, the end result of predicative models are biased to the ability to find working hands, stable supply of materials, manufacturing and mathematically only requiring simple mathematics. It is when we understand the means of production and the economy or education do we see the strength in ourselves to become the owner of a business or aid in the proprietorship of another's. Simply in the engagement of basic trades and manufacturing occasions, do we stand upright above the slouches that can't fathom another day being managed, but if left to be would not themselves. The necessary teachings to practice economics effectively are the fields of finance, psychology and supply line logistics, the study of the whole, being now taught as psychology with a focus on mathematics, in that others may interpret your writings, are fundamentally wrapped around charts when simple numbers from a quality economist are better than the predictions from any number-crunching free market economist. In that they focus on that specifically, that they assume that in operating under a government, the government should not play a hand in the rolling of the wheels to ensure that manufacturing will be only maintained through the supply of raw materials to work with, but that to understand where to market for the best effect for the nation you are selling from and where to. If so, there is an interest in conquest, not different from the dealings with China, to Canada, dwindling the gross capital from the nation, using the citizen under the philosophy, you keep them from doing, you stop nothing, you give them the basic necessities and they will only be able to afford buying from us, they'll only be able to rationalize price in their restricted lives, then we will be at their doorstep faster than our products and you helped us every step of the way, but with integration of the classical model of economics into the commoner's day-to-day life. The capacity to develop themselves more effectively will land true and not only when intended, but when there is necessity, there is invention and all spirit factors become more readily accounted for with less effort calculating losses when the government trains the citizen like the dollar in a shares philosophy reads, you can't hurt us, walk out with your cart, steal what you can, you'll never put a dent in the margins. This method of speculation is not impractical or in a literal sense is the primary directive for those who intend on supplying the fields with specialists. I don't train men in 4 fields to expect their capacity to bloom in one. I train 4 in one with fundamental understanding in 4 as to study sparingly what not only their interest is in, but to identify excellence in their person, as well, the state allowing academic practices to continue when overcomplicating as simple a subject it comes, then to profit from the extension of required lessons for the diploma in the field, to give myself the time to teach one man to do him working one job, as one man, with two behind him working theirs in their fields respectively. Continuing, the capacity to exceed oneself with the support of their state actually is not something out of the future, but is common practice historically, and is as well both treasonous to the state and its laws, if not in the best interest of not the heads of states, but the citizenry as a whole. So in saying that beggars they do not interview every candidate for their best to have the position, it is subject to a matter criminal investigation in the case that one will suffer for the lack of professionalism from the top down of the governing body through all ruling hands. Any decision made over the economy or policy that affects it, given the earlier statement of economics, being the study of people and choices, next is the matter of taxation of the business that develops the nation, in the process of conducting the business within the country in such a way that positively affects the civic, federal/state, or federal economies, creating jobs, paying a reduced tax for providing for the state while reducing the wealth of competition. End note. This is my job, but I am not paid, yet, so I will leave much out for the imagination. I ask you this: if I hurt my people by teaching them to endure subpar education or negotiate with what they are taught over a longer period, and in such let them overappreciate their studies, to which the same SHKRTNs will be met in their fields when this explanation is to challenge the in which I reside to its sovereignty for the same reason it seems to denounce its own under Chinese imperialism, the devil and God on their shoulder. God says, hire those who prove their salt, not pass their course. The devil says, take those who appreciate the job, those who would preserve their lifestyle while it lasts. And the man who is Canada says, I will preserve my lifestyle, I want to be the top of the bottom, I want it all at the cost of my people's preservation and liable freedom. Hey Trudeau, are you interested in hiring someone professional?
Thanks for listening. Click the like or subscribe buttons to support this channel.